Greetings, everybody. I am Lobo, and welcome to episode 79 of my Minecraft survival series. Today, we are back out here in Luna Science District, over here by Wolfins Laboratory, which we started on quite a while back. We need to actually get some work done over here. I hate having unfinished projects. That's the thing. I really do hate having unfinished projects. But, this gives me some time to think about what we're actually doing out here. So take our security checkpoint, for example, just kind of change up the shape, trying to look at it from up high, figure out how it's actually going to work best within our science district, because this is going to be our real only access point into this area. So, just trying to figure out stuff like that. But that's not what we're working on today. What we are working on today is Wolfins Laboratory, which we started a few months back and never completed, just because we didn't have the resources to do so. So now I think we're going to jump right back into this project, and the city keeps catching my eye. I just have to look at it real quick. Oh my, it's so huge. We've done so much work over here, and there is still so much yet to come. But you know what? I am actually pretty proud of this. I am pretty proud of what we accomplished here. Anyway, back on subject. Back to Wolfins Laboratory. We need to actually get the roof on here. We need to get the interior done. But since it has been a while since I've touched anything in the science district, I need to get back in the mindset to actually start placing some blocks over here. I need to get back into what it feels like, what it's going to look like, and all that mess. So I think what we're going to do, I'm going to focus on getting the roof on first. I have a pretty good idea of how that's going to work. And then I think we'll get back into like the interiors and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and call Watchdog out here. You know what? I might as well go ahead and get some of this exterior wall built out too. That could give us a good idea of what this place is going to feel like. And that's more blocks I can throw around and know how they're supposed to look. So let me go ahead and call Watchdog out here. We will put on a little bit of music and try to recapture that magic or silence. Welcome back, everybody. The sun is rising over Luna, and we've got a little bit of a wall built in here on the interior of our waterside district, leading into our science district. Over there, the wall is pretty much going to look the same on the interior of the waterside district, leading into our farming district. So this gives us an idea of what we're going to be doing pretty much throughout this entire area over here. Like, this wall is going to stretch around this entire, district, and we're going to have something really cool over there in that area. That is a long way off, though. I'm getting way too far ahead of myself. I tend to do that. Like, my build, I just start thinking of plans and stuff like that. I was actually intending to build like more of the wall going in this way, but then I decided I need to hold back. I need to wait for this because I'm not sure exactly how this is going to look yet. Like, if we want to have it be, exterior exposed to the daylight, or if we want to have some kind of, structure that we actually go through and that leads us out, from this security checkpoint out into the main science district. But that's for another time. I just want to show you the reveal I want to have here. So let me go ahead and get like a little doorway built up. This little temporary doorway built up out of slime blocks. And of course, they're not actually going to be slime blocks, but I just want to give you like an example of the reveal I'm expecting here. So you come out and then boom, that imposing building is just staring right in front of you. And that's why this is so close. I want that to be like the first sight you see coming into the science district, this really imposing building. I know, like I said, we weren't working on any of this stuff today, but I was just having ideas as as I was building, I kind of wanted to share that with you guys, let you know my mindset and what we're going to be doing here in the future. What we are working on today, however, is the interior of Wolfins Laboratory. And you know what? I imagine there's probably going to end up being multiple floors in here. So before we get started, I should probably figure out where those are going to go. Ow. Okay, so we made a little bit of progress here, and I'm probably going to end up tearing a pretty sizable amount of this out, but I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what I was, thinking as far as the design goes so far. So we have 3 floors here. Only the first floor is going to have any accessible areas, because remember, this is a fake building. So you'll see what one of the entrances feels like. The other one actually comes out from behind a set of stairs. Now, originally, I was going to have the stairs face the other direction, so that way you come out and immediately go up the stairs. But then again, I don't want the stairs to be welcoming, because there's not going to be any accessible areas on the 2nd and 3rd floor. So if you head up there right away, that's going to break the illusion of this building. But as far as the looks go, we're pretty much just carrying the look we did downstairs up here, with some minor changes because I placed a glowstone in the wrong spot. So we're going to have to use dark gray carpet instead of the light gray carpet that we used down there. But you know what? I think that's fine because I don't mind a few little changes here and there, especially in this building, which is only supposed to work at first glance. Like the more you stare at this building, the more it shouldn't make sense. But let me go ahead and tell you guys where I'm at right now design wise. So you can see we got some of the floors I kind of started, and I'm trying to figure out like how I want to do this. The gap gets really small when I put these stairs in here, and I want to have it look more complete on the ends, which is why I put the stairs there in the first place, but I definitely don't feel like that's working. So what I'm going to do right now is just kind of experiment with this and try to figure out like how the edges of our balcony actually need to look. So that's what I'm going to work on now, and I'll be back with you guys in just a few minutes so we can talk more about what we're actually doing here. Oh, and if you guys are wondering like what I'm talking about when I say this is not a real building, when obviously it is actually a real building, I might suggest you check out episode 58, I think it is, where we first build Wolfins Laboratory, this above ground structure right here, because, I think I might explain it in that video. I hope I do anyway, because I'm leading you guys over there. I think it's explained in that video. I'm like 99.9% sure, give or take, 99.9%. Well, I am going to have to harvest more acacia. This is about as far as I can go right now. We don't have enough to complete all the trapdoors in here yet. But before I go and collect more resources, because we are going to need acacia, we are going to need some more wool for our carpets and stuff like that. What I want to do is work on our walls. So you can see here, there's a gap between, our walkway and our wall. That's because there's going to be an interior wall here. We're not just going to have a stone brick wall. And the interior wall is pretty much just going to be carried up from down here. It's going to be this cyan terracotta and lime terracotta design. So what I'm going to do is maybe just do a little bit of a section right here with you guys, and then I'll probably do most of the rest off camera. So what we're going to do is just carry this border along the top here and bring that all the way to the corner, and then we'll do our cyan terracotta just below that. Super fun, right? I'm actually going to be stopping recording here for a little bit to get the rest of this area done, but I wanted to give you guys a good idea of what was actually going to be going on here. And then when we come back, we should have a pretty good amount of the general structure and stuff done here, because we're not doing anything too exciting. We're doing walls right now. We've done floors and, we've talked about ceilings and stuff like that, all of which are pretty flat, and, we're not doing anything too extravagant with them, but we are going to be spicing things up a bit. But before we can do that, I need to go ahead and get like the general shape of this building in. So you know what? I will be back with you guys in just a few minutes, and hopefully we'll have something that looks a little bit better than what we've got currently. I'm trying to get all these furnaces out of here. I don't want to leave them in the floor if we're not going to use them. All right, so I have a pretty good idea of how this place is going to look. We have enough materials, I think, to continue on with this. This should be it for pretty much the general structure. We just got to do this and the carpets and the ceiling. I forgot to get the wool for the carpets, so that's something that's going to have to hold off for a little bit. But we can have a peek at this and see what this looks like without any decoration in here. You can see we used the trapdoors and kind of made like these handrails that kind of, alternate, which I think is actually pretty cool. I do like the way that ended up looking. Now, as far as the ceiling goes right here, I need to go ahead and get in our sea lanterns. I need to get in our prismarine and all that stuff. So I believe the sea lanterns, they just go in on the 4 corners right here, just like that. And then the rest of these spaces are going to be our prismarine, and we're going to use slabs because, we're going to try to cheap out a little bit. I'm actually going through a lot of our prismarine already. So we're just go ahead and put these slabs in here just like that, and then we'll do the same thing for the rest of these. And to get down, it looks like I'm just gonna have to jump for it, so brace your knees. Oh, my ankles. Okay. I forgot to get this room done. I forgot to put up the walls and ceiling in here. That'll be pretty easy. I'll take care of that in just a minute off camera. But first, let's go ahead out here and see how the ceiling actually looks. I think that actually looks pretty cool. So that should match with our floor here. I just want to see if we can get them both in the same shot to see how they work together. I think that looks pretty good. So this room is coming along. This is the main room of the Wolfins Laboratory building. This is the only section of this building where visitors will be allowed to visit. And you know, we just want it to look good for them. You know, this one main room, this is all we need to look good for them. And I think this is going to work because I'm actually liking the way this is starting to look. Now let's go ahead and talk about the areas that nobody else is going to be allowed to access, which is going to be like, you know, our laboratory areas, our observation room like this. You know, we don't want, you know, people getting in here and seeing what's going on, all the crazy experiments that we're going to be doing in this building. So what we're going to have are these security desks which control access to these areas. We're going to have one on this side. We are going to have one on this side as well that controls access to all of our, bed. That controls access to all our underground areas over here. But yeah, I should probably go ahead and get this room fixed and then we can start working on that. And that should just about take care of it. So now we got this room all set up, ready to go. Of course, it needs decorating, but we will worry about that in a little bit. You can see we have the glowstone in the walls here. Those are pretty much just going to continue the lighting the same way we did down here. Like if you look behind these panels right here, there's actually glowstone behind these, just to, you know, give us a little bit extra lighting down here. Make sure it's all nice and bright because we want to see what we're doing. But yeah, how we're going to access this area from out here from our main area is we're going to have a security checkpoint, a little security desk where we have to scan our ID badge in order to get back here. And I think this is going to be pretty fun. Now I have an idea how I'm going to do this. I don't really know how I'm going to decorate it yet, but I think what we're going to do is use the dark prismarine in here. We're going to carry some more dark prismarine out throughout this build. And there's probably going to be more added to it than this, but I just want to go ahead and use this as kind of a starting point to figure out like where we can start adding stuff, because this is going to be one of the details that we add in here. Now you may notice our block palette is all over the place. Again, I said this isn't supposed to be a great looking build. It's not supposed to be super welcoming or anything like that. So that gives me the opportunity to experiment around back here, and I think we're going to have some fun with this because I think we could still probably make this look pretty decent. All right, so we're going to have this center divider right here to basically make it so we have an entrance and an exit, right? So if you look at this, we can maybe have our entrance over here and just have an exit over here. That way, you know, we don't have people kind of bumping into each other as they're going about. Actually, you know, I think I want my entrance on the right because that feels a little bit more natural to me. We're going to have the entrance on the right side, and then we're going to have the exit on the right side coming from the opposite direction. Now, how we're going to control access to this area is we're going to use a dropper. We're going to have an ID badge that we're going to be throwing into a dropper, and that's going to actually open up the door for us. Now, what I'm going to do, I want this dropper facing up. I don't want a happy face staring at me as I'm doing this. Let's see if we can get this facing. Okay, that's not going to work. You know, let me go ahead and get this thing wired up. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing wired up for you, and then I'll be back to show you how this is all going to work in just a moment. All right, so jumping ahead a little bit, I think I have the redstone pretty much figured out at this point. Oh, that is just so rude. They're like stomping all over my flower beds. Not nice. Only I'm allowed to do that. Anyway, what we're going to be doing before we can actually test this thing out, we can't test it out until we have our ID badges, right? So we're coming over here to Dunder Minecraft. We're going to go ahead and get some paper made up to print out our badges, because that is going to be the only way that you're going to be able to access these areas is by actually feeding your ID badge into the dropper that we have set up. It's basically an item filter, so it only accepts the ID badge. And then what we're going to do is have that open the door for us. So we'll bring this over here to Bodan. We'll have him print them out for us. Bodan. That's all right. We'll find him. He's probably out to lunch or something. He always gets out of this area. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get our ID badges made up. So that will cost us 1 level, but well worth it. So we can go ahead and take our Wolfins Laboratory ID badge and bring it over to our system and go ahead and give this thing a quick test. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the exit to this room first. We have a pressure plate right here that opens a steel door. Pretty simple stuff. Okay, and you'll notice when we get on this side, this is exit only. There's nothing on this side. There's no way to actually get in on this side. So we have to go through the side that's on the right. So this is going to be the only way to access this. This is a little bit more complicated, but still very simple. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our Wolfins Laboratory ID badge right here. We're going to be putting it into the dropper. So it's now in the dropper, and you'll see once it scans our badge, then that redstone comes on and the door opens for us. Now that door is going to remain open until we actually pass through it. So, you know, we'll get our ID badge back on the other side. Basically, our ID badge goes into this item filter right here. So this can only hold 18 Wolfins Laboratory ID badges, which means the badge we put in there was the 19th. So since that puts it over capacity, what that's going to do, and I need to actually get over here so I can show you, what that's going to do is that's going to send our extra ID badge, the one we put in, through a hopper chain that's actually going to lead over here into this dropper. So our badge is now inside this dropper right there. You can see it right here. So since there's an item in that dropper is then going to send a comparator signal out of this across that repeater and up here to the door. So having our badge go into that dropper basically opens the door. So that's how that's going to work. Now you'll notice that we have a pressure plate right here. What that pressure plate controls is a little piece of redstone dust on a block in front of the dropper system. So basically when we step on that pressure plate, it's going to activate the droppers and shoot our ID badge out, which would then close the door and give us our ID badge back. Theoretically, let's go ahead and give this thing a shot. So we'll walk over here, heard the dropper go off, the door shut. So we now have our ID badge back in our inventory, which we didn't get to see. I walked over it too fast, so you couldn't see the actual dropper like shoot that thing out. But we'll go ahead and give this thing one more shot, and we'll do it like as we would if we were actually coming in here. So we'll go ahead and put carpet over here so we can walk straight over it. We can go ahead and get this wall filled in as well. And then we can go ahead and give this one more shot. So the ID badge goes into the dropper, it scans the ID badge, the door opens, we walk through, stand on the pressure plate, the ID badge shoots out, the door closes. So that's perfect. That's working just great. Now I need to go ahead and get the other side done. All right, so both our ID badge scanning systems are now in place. We do need to give this one a quick test run before we can call it good. So we'll throw our badge in, the door opens, we step through, we get our badge back. The door closes. Perfect. All right. So yeah, that works. That works. We have our, security system in. I think we're going to use this in several other areas of this place too. We're going to have ender chests put around here. This is our Wolfins Laboratory ID badge office, visitor passes. Basically, we're just going to store the excess ID badges in the ender chest in case we lose ours or forget it or whatever. We have easy access to it. So that way we're never locked out of, our rooms. Anyway, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get the rest of this building done. We need to get our details in, our decorations in. We need to kind of figure out like how this place actually has to look in order to look passable. And then we also need to go ahead and come through here. We need to actually decorate this room on the other side as well. So we'll pop in through here, get our badge back. Perfect. I love this system, by the way. Yeah, we have some stuff to do down here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of all this, and I'll be back with you guys in just a few minutes. All right, so before I show you guys what I've done over at Wolfins Laboratory, I think it'd be a smart idea to go ahead and get some villagers over there to kind of populate it since we are open for business at this point. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to populate it mostly with clerics since they do have the rotten flesh trade, and Wolfins Laboratory deals mostly with, mobs and stuff like that. I think that would be really convenient. And excuse me, sir, I'm going to need you to make your way up this little stair set right up here. Right up here. You got to go to work. It's time to go. All right, so we'll just have him step right on here onto this track. We'll get him into a minecart and send him off on his way. Now, as far as his role in Wolfins Laboratory, he's not an evil scientist. I keep saying evil scientist when referring to these Wolfins Laboratory guys. I don't know why that is. We have no proof that they're actually evil. They just do some weird stuff sometimes. Hello, animals. We got a lot of animals spawning out here. Anyway, his role is not that of a researcher or an evil scientist, excuse me. No, he is actually going to be a very helpful guy who's working at our information desk. When any visitors come and they need to know something, they'll come to him and he will, give them, well, actually no information of use because, people don't need to know what's going on over here at Wolfins Laboratory. So that's what his job is going to be. And you're getting a little sneak peek of what this place, what I've done to this place in the meantime. But I'll just go ahead and let's just go ahead and take a peek at it real quick. So you'll see that the color palette is just all over the place. I was having some fun with it. You'll notice a lot of guardian colors in here. We got the dark prismarine, the orange, the acacia and all that stuff. It looks like a guardian designed this place. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Get down. You're not supposed to be there. We need to make it so this guy can't stand on top of his desk because that is very unprofessional. Listen, I told you weren't supposed to be helpful, but I wasn't referring to how your interactions with me are supposed to occur. Good help is just so hard to find, but we are hiring for more positions in Wolfins Laboratory. It's like a career day here in Luna. And oh, look at that. We got another cleric just waiting on the track for us right there. I like your initiative. You know what, my friend? You are hired. And you, my friend, are very shrewd, and I can appreciate that. We will discuss salary. We'll discuss vacation time. We'll discuss all that stuff later. But as of right now, I am going to need you to just get to work. There we go. And, we're hiring for management as well. Are you interested in that position? Stock options, benefits. Oh man, we have just a comprehensive. Oh, you're too far away now. Can't answer your question. Sorry. Now, before we head back to the lab, you remember earlier when I was looking for Bodan and I couldn't find him? Well, I found him, and I don't know how he got himself into this mess. But you know what? He's a very talented blacksmith. I'll give him that. He's very talented. So yeah, you guys are just ridiculous. All right, so I think I got everything cleaned up now. I think I got all our dirt cleaned up and all our rails and stuff like that. We can look at some of the stuff we did today. First of all, this exterior wall of the Waterside District that leads into our Science District, which I think turned out pretty cool. This will, of course, lead into various security checkpoints that we have to pass through before we can eventually make our way into the actual Science District and into Wolfins Laboratory right here. So this is what we actually worked on today, mostly the interior of this building right here. And we'll just pop in here real quick and just have a peek at what everything looks like. I'll walk through it kind of slowly so that way you can kind of see what we've done. Now, the aesthetic of this building is it's supposed to look fake at, you know, a extended glance. At first glance, it's supposed to look fine. You know, you can be like, okay, it's kind of built a little weird, but it looks like a building. But upon further expansion, the more you look at it, the more it's supposed to seem fake. So yes, you're being very helpful. I appreciate the fact that you're standing down there at your desk now doing your job. Now, of course, a lot of these areas are going to be accessible via ID badges, which, you know, I will have, and, you know, we'll assume that our various, you know, researchers and stuff have as well. But, you know, talking about how this area is supposed to look fake, you can see how kind of, you know, the decorations get repetitive and they're very sparse. You know, there's not really a whole lot going on up here the further you get up. Like, it gets very, very plain look going upwards, which is the effect I want. Because, you know, there's not supposed to be a whole lot going on in this building. You know, if you go up there to the second, third floors, you can see there's actually no doors up there at all. And you may ask our villager, hey, what's up with that? This place seems kind of like a facade. There's not really too much going on here. And he'll just be like, huh? And then you'll move on because he is the authority. But moving on to our authorized access areas, we have two of them. One on this side, we've already been in there. You've seen it. That's already been decorated. We did that a while back. But we got this area over here going on, which, you know, I just threw some furniture around in here because there's not too much going on in the main entryway. So we'll just wait for this door to open. We'll collect our ID badge and just have a peek at what's going on in here. So we got some various writing desks over here. We got a couple desks. Oh, that could be a problem. And step on the... Okay, well, that's exit too. You can't get in without the badge, but you can exit either way. Anyway, we got some control panels over here on this side and some writing desks over here on this side. So we got our couple villagers right here. They're just hanging out and doing whatever they do. Oh, man. And then we got a little security area right down here where we can kind of monitor the various ongoings down here in Wolfins Laboratory. And of course, if you're not familiar with Wolfins Laboratory, let's go ahead and take a walk through here real quick. Wolfins Laboratory is basically in charge of all our mob-related stuff here in Luna. And this door is actually supposed to be locked. I should probably lock that when I come back up. But you can see down here, we actually have a gas room. We have a ghast in here being, you know, studied extensively. I don't know what they're doing with him. We'll just leave that alone. That's for the scientists to figure out, not me. Anyway, we'll move our way back here. And, you know, we have various other rooms in here dedicated to various other mobs. They're also going to be in charge of our beacons. Like, these tunnels actually lead to our beacons. But we have a drowned room right here so far. Wolfins Laboratory also runs our aquatic research facility, which is also our guardian farm. This is another future project that we're going to work on. And of course, we have our slime farm down here as well. So yeah, all mob related stuff. That's Wolfins Laboratory's deal. One thing that just occurred to me that might be of slight concern is if our villagers come over here, stand on the pressure plate, and then make their way out the door. Because then they could just roam freely wherever they want to go. Which, you know, if they're smart enough to do that, they can. Because I don't think there's anything out here that can actually hurt them. This area is pretty mob safe because it's very, very well lit. And you know what? If that's fine. You know, the only thing that would concern me is if they actually got down in this area and, you know, got lost, but, you know, hopefully they're smart enough to know not to do that. Anyway, I think that is all the time that we have for today. So if you guys have enjoyed this episode, please feel free to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.